April 29th, 1945, 3 in the morning. Berlin is on fire. Soviet forces are already at the walls of the city. In a small underground room, a 25-year-old woman is typing, fast, without mistakes. She is typing Adolf Hitler's last words, his final testament, his final order, his final accusation to the world. 31 hours from now, he will shoot himself in the head, and she will disappear for 50 years. Her name was Traudl Junge. She was born in Munich in 1920. Her father left when she was 5. The family lived on 4 marks and 50 pfennigs a day for 4 people. She dreamed of becoming a ballerina. They did not accept her into dance school. She became a secretary. Top marks in her class for typing speed. At 22, she came to Berlin looking for adventure. Not for politics, not for ideology, for something new. And she found something else entirely. December 1942. 10 young women are summoned to the Wolf's Lair, Hitler's military headquarters in East Prussia, to be tested for the position of personal secretary. Traudl was nervous. She made mistakes. She typed worse than the others. Hitler chose her, without letting the others begin. She would later say, I was 22. Politics did not interest me, it just seemed wonderfully exciting. He was polite, attentive. He called her my child. He warned her to be careful around the men at headquarters. She described him as a pleasant employer and a fatherly friend. Outside, gas chambers were operating. She did not know, or did not want to know. She herself could never fully answer that question for the rest of her life. For 3 years, she typed his speeches, his letters, his orders. She ate at the same table. She listened to his monologues until 2 in the morning. She watched him pet his dog and play with the Goebbels children. In 1943, she married Hans Junge, an SS officer. The next year, he was killed in Normandy. Berlin was falling apart. She stayed anyway, stayed close to Hitler, kept typing. By April 1945, the bunker was besieged. The ceiling shook from artillery. Most of the staff had already fled or been dismissed. She stayed. April 28th, around midnight. Hitler called her into his study. "Come along, I want to dictate something." She reached for the typewriter cover. He stopped her. "Take it down on the shorthand pad." He stood, leaned on the table, stared at nothing. Silence for a few seconds. Then he began, in a flat tone, almost mechanically. "My political testament." He dictated standing, blaming Jews, appointing successors, issuing final orders. No remorse, no regret. The same rhetoric as always. She typed until 5 in the morning. 3 copies of the political testament, 3 copies of the personal will. Hitler came in several times to check. "Are you ready?" She was not. She made mistakes. Crossed them out by hand. This is not the hardest part of this story. Subscribe. The worst is still ahead. April 30th. She was playing with the Goebbels children in the corridor of the bunker. Suddenly, a shot, so loud, so close. Helmut Goebbels shouted, "Direct hit," and did not know how right he was. Hitler was dead. The next day, Goebbels poisoned his 6 children and killed himself alongside his wife. On May 1st, she fled the bunker, through subway tunnels, through sniper fire, through Soviet tanks. In her pocket, a cyanide capsule Hitler had given her. She reached the river Elbe, could not cross to the Allied lines. Returned to Berlin under the name Gerda Alt. On June 9th, she was arrested. 5 months of Soviet interrogations. She hid the cyanide capsule under her tongue during searches. One day they found it. At that moment, she said, "I felt completely helpless. The right to make that final decision had been taken from me." In prison, Soviet guards told her what German soldiers had done to their families. She listened. For the first time, she began to understand. December 1945, released. January 1946, hospital with diphtheria. Then she escaped from the Soviet zone, hiding in a farmer's manure cart at the border. She returned to Munich. The Denazification Commission cleared her on account of her youth. She became a secretary again. Then chief editor of an illustrated magazine. She lived quietly. said nothing about the past. In 1947, she wrote a memoir, put it in a drawer, did not publish it. 55 years of silence. One day, she could not remember exactly when, she was walking through Munich and saw a memorial plaque. Sophie Scholl, member of the White Rose Resistance, executed in 1943 for opposing the Nazi regime. Traudl stopped, looked at the date of birth, 1921, the same age, executed the year Traudl came to Hitler. At that moment, she said, "I understood. Being young is not an excuse. It would have been possible to find things out." 2001. She was 81. Cancer. She finally agreed to speak. 10 hours of interviews in her small one-room apartment in Munich. The director was an Austrian Jew whose family had died in Nazi camps. On camera, she said, "I felt great guilt for liking the greatest criminal ever to have lived." On February 10th, 2002, the documentary was released. That same day, Traudl Junge died. Her last words were, "Now that I have let go of my story, I can let go of my life." Traudl Junge did not organize the death camps, but she helped the system keep speaking in its own voice. The question is not whether she was guilty. The question is, how many people like her were standing nearby, and how few of them ever asked themselves about it.